Welcome back to Jamba Hydrated, another episode, a new beautiful episode on our guest series. I'm Nyerere, and I let the guest introduce himself.
My name is Enoch, and Tumwine, and former MasterCard scholar, and I'm really excited being here. Thank you for the invite.
Maybe you can share who Enoch is, where you come from, and what attracted you to this beautiful country.
Nothing much attracted me but education.
Mm-hmm.
I just came here for education. I'm from. I was born. I like to call myself East African citizen, or on a bigger scale African, because born in Uganda, raised, grew up also in Rwanda, but I'm Burundian by descent too. So the map, all feeding all those countries.
East African.
I'm East African, and now I'm with the Kenyan brother. So I vibe more in East African communities. So I did political science in school. I just finished last year.
Is political science something that you wanted to do since you were in primary school, high school?
Yeah, I would like. I would say yes, because everyone has a dream or strength, weaknesses, and passions, definitely. So I think my passion aligns with a bit, not only political, but also studying the history of the world. And if you want to know more the history, then politics is one of the ways. And so my real strength, passion, I'm passionate about bridging politics that builds, and also like everything is about politics. Even this camera is political in a way.
Yeah, true.
I'll tell you how it's political.
Okay.
You bought it by price. What determines price is economy. What runs the economy is politics.
Yeah, true.
So a decision was made from above, then you got a camera.
Yeah.
You could get it at $2, but because a politician signed something, you got it at 100 plus. So politics determines everything here.
Yeah,
technically, yeah. That's why I like a broader view of politics, because it affects in every health, economy, science, everything. So that's why I love politics.
Yeah, and I guess we all want to make a certain kind of change.
Yes.
And the best position, like for us to be in the best position to make this change, is to understand our history, to understand why things came to be why they are. What was the best part of political science?
So basically what attracted me is I think it's because of my background. A kind of a diverse background. And since I was a child, I had exposure from beginning. I lived in Rwanda, I lived in Uganda, I lived in Burundi. We also lived in Tanzania at some point. I have not had a chance to live in Kenya. That's my next destination. But what I'm saying is, when you go to those countries, they have similar problems, they have similar progress, they have the similar even mindsets they do have. And so when you look at even beyond East Africa, look at the continent of Africa, why you'd ask yourself, why is Africa the richest continent, yet Africa is again the poorest continent? How is the two worlds connected? And so I found that the way to contribute to that is through understanding the politics, because the history of Africa, right even before colonialism went, there was political systems, organizations, and structures. But once they were destroyed and dismantled by colonialism, colonialism was not dismantled by any other thing. It is political. So if to fix Africa, you have a political solution too. And to understand the broader dynamics of politics. What's the interest? How do you understand the international system? Why why like institutions like UN exist, why institutions like World Bank exist, why institutions like why is integration important. So all those broader pictures you have to capture them in a political angle, in that it exposes your knowledge to a bigger geopolitical but also region, East Africa and African land. So I wanted to understand very well the context, the concept, and the implementation.
No, I guess that's the inspiration behind African Rebirth.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can let our viewer know more about African Rebirth, what, why you started it, when you started it, and just say more about African Rebirth.
So hence the birth of African Rebirth, that passion. So when I started it last year, by the way, beginning of last year, when I was in my final year of school, and the concept behind African Rebirth is what I was explaining. Why Africa, the poorest continent, but also the richest? How do we merge the two worlds? How is that possible? So, African Rebirth, our mission is to defy mediocrity, empower and inspire and empower young African leaders. So our point of focus are young people, because statistically, Africa, on the number of young people, it goes our side. We make 80%. Africa's population of young people is 80%, meaning old people is just 20%. And so, if they say, like people all say, Africa is the future. The future has already remained in compliments. Beautiful place.
Is it actually 80%? Or
it might be even more than that. That's what statistics captures, but it might be even more than that. And so, if we are going really to bring those things, that world into the beautiful continent, as you really say, like towards, say, a continent for the future, you have to invest in the future to get the future. And so the young people are our target. And how? One thing, young people on the continent are not connected. Now, I used to hear it in theories, but I saw it when we started African Rebirth. There is no. How many platforms do you know that connects young people from north, east to west, and they're one dialogue? The very, very few platforms. Yes. And so, if you're going really, I told you, the Ugandan problems are the same, Kenyans problems are the same, even the solutions must be the same. The same in West Africa, North and Southern Africa. So once we are going to really bring this a change, is bringing the young people from all corners of Africa to speak about what pressing issues, share opportunities, not only problems, but also offer solutions. So a platform, like sort of an ecosystem where young people have to come together to see the future and the present. And so that's the inspiration about African Rebirth.
And actually, why the name Africa Rebirth?
Yes, so that for something to be reborn, there are two things that must have taken place. One, something must have died. You've had the second resurrection of Jesus.
Yeah. But,
So Jesus died and he resurrected. So there is the resurrection. Second, something must not be growing. It started to grow. You've seen like a malnourished kid or a person who's like 80 but looks like a 10-year-old kid. Someone is not growing. So you need to revamp and re-energize. So hence the African Rebirth. So when you look at the continent of Africa, the history and the present. One, how can you be the richest continent yet you are the poorest continent? How can, for example, how do you explain slavery, slave trade, when someone will be given a mirror and you sell your own? How do you explain that? How do you explain the politics of division or based on tribal lenses, based on religion, based on what? How do you explain the ongoing wars? It's the 21st century, but we still see coups, flowing like water. So there is a need to a rebirth in ideology, a rebirth in unity, a rebirth to understand the concept of wealth creation and prosperity. That's why the name African Rebirth. So I strongly believe that the organization I started and going around Africa should be building a rebirth of mindset. That I am not going to see the politics of the 1960s based on lenses, tribal lenses. I'm going to pursue interests, and interests should not be based on tribes. Interest must be national.
Yeah.
Interest must be regional. Interest must be continental. We should really build a generation. We building business leaders. Because some people say, "Oh, this sounds like more political." No, it's not only politics. We are also raising business leaders, civil society organization leaders, people who are going to lead businesses, even religious. On the higher ring, the political leaders. At the end of the day, we need political systems in place.
Yes.
So that's why the name African Rebirth.
Do you feel like we are making any strides to having solutions to these problems? Because we already understand, and I think once we understand the problems,
yes,
we start thinking about the solutions.
Absolutely.
So do you think we've made that progress?
Yes, I would like to say so. We've made progress, but great progress has measurements, though. You should be given performance. We've made progress, but we need more. There is progress. Definitely, the Africa of the 90s is not the same Africa. We see a lot of young people creating startups. We see young people creating jobs for themselves. We see like some sort of political change, mindset change. We see like businesses flowing, and and what excites more when we talk to young people, African Rebirth, we teach, we mentor, is the consciousness that there is need for change. No, that's the starting point. Like today, we need real change. Yeah. So starting, we've done. I would say it's not zero. It's somewhere. So we just need to maybe increase strategy and tactics to reach where we want to go.
Like for this rebirth to be successful,
yes.
Who are the key players?
Who are the key players?
Yes.
Starting from us, you and me. Yeah, it's you and me. The key players, me and you. Me and you and others who may be watching the show. And so, but we know we live in an interdependence society. So there's a need for everyone. So I would say everyone who's conscious enough to see there is a change in Africa should really pursue it. For example, we need governments on our side that has a higher end power to make the policies they want to make and that are youth inclusive and youth friendly. Second, we need civil society organization to champion the youth and to mobilize the youth to do better. Second, we need the business community, private sector. We need it to help startups to have that ecosystem of creating an environment where young people can thrive and do wonders. So we need media, we need media coverage on our side. Media coverage to increase content creation, but also to showcase to showcase African stories, success stories, and with that, it's uninclusive. But we're also not limited to Africa. We are also open to global well wishers who think African. And thinking Africans, putting African interests first.
Yes.
Yeah, but it starts from us. Then even the global will come later when we have a strategy and a roadmap.
And okay, for this rebirth to be successful,
Yeah.
and we need a lot of youth behind this.
Yeah.
Because of the huge youth African population.
Mm.
But if you can say of all the 50 something countries,
55 states.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm.
yeah, we have like older generations
Yes.
as political leaders, and they all talk about we are with the youth.
Yeah.
See, we have the Kenyan election coming up soon,
Yes.
and everyone is coming up with this youth strategy. Oh, I want to work with the youth. I want to make these reforms to benefit the youth.
Yeah.
But I don't see like youth in those like in those political parties.
Yes.
But the ideas that are supposed to be implemented are meant for the youth.
Yeah.
So how can African governments meaningfully involve African youth in this rebirth?
Okay. That's a very good question, Eric. Because every politician will exploit the power, the energy, the intellect of youth. More especially when it comes to campaign. And in politics, what they call the political fever. So everyone is suffering that fever during political campaigns, and everyone wants to mobilize youth because they're the ones. First of all, they're the majority. The second, they have the energy to campaign, to mobilize, to fundraise. Third, they understand dynamics issues. So, and second, they use them as an advantage because they are unemployed. They are not. Most of them don't have like a source of income.
Yes.
So the politician use them as baits to give them little pennies and. So how can one, it starts from us before we involve government. Because I guarantee you it will be forever permanent that some political leaders will never understand the dynamics of youth.
Yes.
They will never change. Second, so it starts from us to take matters in our hands, to take matters of destiny in our hands, to change the narrative. First of all, if you are the majority and someone is seeking a political office, someone who doesn't make sense, vote him on. Second, you can use the power of numbers to vote the politicians out. Second, get involved in politics.
Yeah, but most youth are scared to join politics. They say politics is a dirty game.
Oh, everywhere is dirty. Depends how you clean the mess. Even in business, every game has its own rules. But if you're saying it is dirty, then who will clean up the mess? It will remain. So for you who is not dirty, unless you are saying that you might also be dirty, you know. So, but who will clean up the mess? I don't think that's for me an excuse. Yes, it has a lot of dynamics. You must have money. You must have connections to make things come true. But hey, we will sing the song, and those politicians may not have a plan. So if you don't have a plan, will you wait for them? Second, what the young people should know that the politicians that are old in offices, they also have their own kids, right? So they are not going to promote you they don't know before they promote their own families.
Yeah.
So they should be cautious about that. That it's a game. It's a rule of the jungle. It's the one who has the power protects it. They have to understand the concept of power. When you have power, you consolidate it. You don't just let go like you power like that. So those politicians want to keep power in their cycle, family, friends. And so it's the power of the youth to break that cycle. If a politician is not making sense, vote him out. But also the best way is to get involved in politics. Make connections. How do you think that those politicians made it there? You know, and most of them, do you ever think about that? Like someone also came and made it. Why do you think it's only their call, not yours? So how do they think? How many people you've seen in top leadership positions who are born in the state house? There are very few.
Yeah.
So how do those who are not born in a minister's family, the senator or president's family, made it to there? What strategies do they use? Wasn't politics that enough? Were they rich enough? So it's being real to your cause and getting real and avoid these fantasies that our government is coming to include our youth policies. No one now has time to think about you when you don't know how to think about for yourself. So young people should take matters in their own hands and either vote them out
or be involved.
And be involved. And for me, the best way is not just be a voter, to be a number anyway, is to get involved, know how they vote, know how to convince people, network, volunteer with those members of parliament, know the ins and outs of politics. Don't wait to be invited at the table, because no one will ever invite you at the higher table. You have to take yourself at the table.
Yes.
And actualize the same politics. And then to the government, understand that you are not immune to change. You might take advantage 1 year or 2 years, but just know why were you not voted? Just see the future. Like, have a bigger picture. As a politician, must see the country 10 years, 40 years from now. Do you really want people to beg for you to give them 5,000 to run after you? Is that a society you want to build? So they also should think strategically, creating an ecosystem where everyone has dignity, everyone has a chance to thrive.